control. I have control. I have control. Execute.
All right. I think we
we're
are live. You want to turn the volume off on that thing?
It is off.
Oh. Well, hello, everybody.
Welcome to the first ever.
All right. I think there's sound coming from that.
The volume off on that thing? Okay, then.
We can hear each other twice. It's so good. Welcome, everyone, to the Berm Limits podcast live.
The first ever.
The first ever. Well, technically, we had that one in the car.
We did.
That one time. But this is the first from our studio, the Bulletin Studio here in lovely Pennsylvania. And we'd just like to thank everybody for joining us tonight.
Yeah, hopefully you're having a good day, and hopefully you'll sit back and enjoy the sweet sounds of our voices for the next hour plus.
Yeah, hour plus probably, especially
10
knowing
hours.
Who our special guest is this evening.
Is he special?
He's special in certain ways. He's special to me too. But he's a great friend of ours.
Yep.
I've had the absolute pleasure of training with him a couple of times.
Yep. I've had the pleasure of being instructed by him.
Yep. And I'm very much looking forward to that this summer. To take one of his classes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andrew Smersek to the podcast. Hello, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Hello, other sir.
Hello.
I'm good, guys. How are you?
We're doing good, man. So we're trying out this live podcast thing, and we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, partly or mostly inspired by you, sir. We had chatted about it a little bit, but watching all these lives that you've been doing definitely spurred us, I think, into action.
Yeah, we totally stole your molecules.
Yeah, in other words, we just said, you know what he's doing it, let's do it too.
Well, it's literally the thing I was wanting you guys to do anyways. I had to do one with Zach Bush because, trying to get more students for him. And I was like, oh man, I should just do this with everyone. I was like, wait a second, that's a thing I wanted Mike and Max to do.
Well, I just needed to see you do it for me to go, I could do that.
Yeah.
No,
you're
on a roll, bro.
Oh, thanks, man. The hard part for me has been listening to it again and being like, damn, you say too much. And
don't do that.
Oh, yeah, don't listen to yourself.
Don't listen to yourself. It's the worst thing you can do. The only thing worse than that is comments.
Yeah. Actually, what's even worse than listening to yourself? Editing yourself. Like editing a video. Oh my God. It's the worst.
No, believe me, I get it. I've spent many hours doing retakes and now I just don't care about it as much. I'm just like, all right, it's good enough. And hopefully someone comments on that thing I screwed up. Yeah.
And then you get a whole nother stream of awesomeness from people making fun of you.
Do you know how many times I've been told about, your bag gets so big, or your bag is like without just out of context comments that are just annoying.
Yeah.
I need to do something.
You know what I just realized?
I'm listening.
Okay, so everybody that's listening, welcome. There is going to be a giveaway tonight. Before we start getting into everything, there is going to be a giveaway tonight of this rail right here, Midwest Industries. Rail. What is this thing? This is a free float handguard combat rail from Midwest Industries. They're my absolute favorite, and they are. Let me pull up this little awesome overlay. The sponsor of tonight's Berm Limits Live, and probably for all the live episodes that we do moving forward. So I'd like to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Midwest Industries.
They are awesome.
Yes. They're really the best factory-made rifle that you could possibly, in my opinion, because they're made for people that actually do shit. They're not like, a wall gun, if you will. No. Like they look great. Don't get me wrong, but like they work hard.
Yeah, I mean they're made for people that are going to actually use their stuff and train. I mean that's the intention behind it. It's not just some pretty thing that you might take out of the safe every now and then to, oil and rub.
Oil and rubbing
Mm-hmm.
is very much what we want to do.
I'd like to point out that you took it there first.
Yeah,
Just saying.
always take it there first. But they have provided us some awesome gear to give away to you guys over the course of whenever we do some live streams. So tonight we're kicking it off with the big ticket item that they'd sent, which is a 12-point something inch free float handguard combat rail.
Yep.
And you can win it this evening. And how can you win it? Okay, so right up here. Oh, look, I can touch it on the screen. Is a QR code. You can take out your phone, take a picture of the QR code, enter your name and email address, and you'll be entered into a drawing that we will do at 8 o'clock tonight.
8 o'clock promptly.
I'm going to have to stop Andrew in the middle of whatever he's saying, probably something cool, and then we're going to have to do a giveaway. Sadly, no, it's great. So we got that going, and then in the chat links, if you can't use the QR code, every once in a while it will pop up saying to join tonight's giveaway. There should be a link in there somewhere. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah, guys, for everyone that's doing everyone's doing the 13.7 and the 14.5 barrel builds, this is ideal.
It's the right length.
And it's lightweight. It's scalloped in all the right places. There's not a rifle that I have that does not have a Midwest rail on it. It is the right choice.
So, Max, if you keep talking for a second.
I want to say hello to who's here commenting. So I see we have Rob Bermudez is saying the QR code is not working.
Oh, no. The QR code isn't working.
That's what he's saying.
Shit.
Hello, Mark Curtis, Adam Hall, Casey's in the chat. Javier is in the chat. Apparently, Andrew's in the chat. Thank God Andrew's here, because if he wasn't in the chat, this whole thing would fall apart. Marcus Curtis is saying that he got notification from YouTube for a change, that it worked. See what else we got here.
Uh-oh, somebody's texting me now.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
I don't know who Gernest2 is.
Oh, hello, that's Gary Ernest.
That's kind of what I thought. Hello from the Fox Den. So we have some people in the chat, which is cool. So Sam Russell is here. Happy birthday, Sam. Oh, now we got people joining now. They're coming along. So what are we talking about tonight?
So tonight we are talking about a few things. So first up, we have our training tip.
Ooh.
And then we'll get into a quick bulletin point session, because how could we have a Berm Limits podcast without some bulletin points?
Yep.
And then we have some discussion topics to go over with Andrew.
Yes.
Who I've been dying to kind of talk about these things with him, because I love his take on most everything.
He has a very unique perspective.
He does. He's very passionate and excited about everything.
Yes. There may be a T-shirt or a patch coming your way, Andrew, that fits you perfect.
Okay, I'm excited for that.
So hopefully that Google form is working now. Let us know if you could see it in the chat. It should have a link in there, and it brings you to a screen that allows you to enter your name and email address. So let me know if that's working.
Crystal is here.
If not, we'll just burn it all to the ground. Yeah, it's working. I got names coming into the
I see names.
Oh no, those are all fake names.
Oh,
I don't think there's anybody named Fatima.
My wife is in the chat.
Your wife's in the chat.
Apart now.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're a little bit more disjointed this evening than most others.
Well, it happens. It's the first time.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for.
Let me see if this works.
Ashley is interrupting so I can open a jar.
Well, it's about the important thing. Do your husbandly duties.
But everyone who likes Ashley soap, understand you would never have soap if it weren't for me opening coconut oil jars.
Well, you know what? In the next 40 minutes or so, we're going to have to come up with an alternative, because it looks like my plan is not working for how to do a wheel of names type thing. So we'll just have to think of something on the fly, make comments. We'll be reading as we go along.
Yeah.
And I think might just have to pick whatever the best comment is of the evening.
Ooh, I like that idea.
You know what? We could just give the honor to Andrew of picking.
I like that.
Picking somebody from tonight's audience.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
There's a video I wanted to make with a question in it. I could just ask the question right here, and you could give it to the first person who gets the answer right.
Let's do that at 8:00.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll stick with our 8
So
o'clock timing.
we'll stick to the 8:00 timing because I told everyone the drawing would be at 8:00, and you can put out your question, and we'll see who has the right answer at 8.
Sounds good.
Sound good? We're doing this on the fly. Fuck it, we'll
indeed.
do it live.
We'll do it live.
Do it live.
What do you mean play us out? What does that even mean? And that's the best. Is that Bill O'Reilly? Or
Yes,
is it?
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Javier, you'll get it soon. I've knocked out a ton of words. I'm closing that gap right now to having.
He is rapidly closing the gap thanks to a chair.
All right. So this evening we'll start off with our training tip. And Andrew, please feel free to join in on any tips you might have on this particular topic because
he does live in.
Yeah, you live in Florida, and I know I didn't share this with you, but tonight's training tip is about hydration. Like, what are the things that you do to make sure that you don't die?
Exactly.
Which is super important because I've been close a couple of times.
Sam knows what we're talking about.
What's that?
Sam Russell had to be revived by Chuck.
Did he?
He did. He almost went south.
Oh,
I think Sam was just trying to get a thermometer somewhere.
Probably. Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah, he's like, can you give me the Camelback?
Chuck, I sure am feeling hot and dizzy right now.
I want the Camelback, but not in the mouth. If you know what I mean. So I brought a couple of things that I like to use.
Yep, as did I.
Mainly around the idea of, yes, you have to drink a lot of water. That's a given, right?
Right.
Like, drink as much as you can. Stay ahead of the hydration curve. But there's a couple of things that I like to put in my range bag. I don't really care about the brand. I'm not going to show the brand, but they sell these big packets of their liquid IV or something like that.
Yep.
Electrolyte packets at I think we just picked these up at Giant, and they have them at Walmart. They have a bunch of different places, but it's sugar-free. I like sugar-free stuff because I don't like drinking calories, but electrolyte packets so that you could take these and throw them into any water that you do pick up along the way. The Gatorade is also a good option.
Yep.
Sometimes it has a lot of sugar in it though. So I go with the sugar-free Gatorade, but I take these and I put them all in my range bag. So I've got probably about a dozen of these in the range bag so that if I have a really heavy day, I'll probably go through at least half of them. And then I have enough for a 2-day class in there. But yeah, you should definitely have some electrolyte additives on hand. That's the big tip for tonight. And whether or not it's in little packets, I also use this stuff called Light Show, which is it's a liquid form of that, and it tastes like ass. It tastes absolutely horrible.
Nice.
They probably make a flavored version, but this stuff is super concentrated. It makes it taste like you're drinking from the ocean, and it has a bunch of different electrolytes in it, and it works really fucking good.
See, for me, I got the advice from my daughter who was having issues with her own hydration when she was doing training in Arizona. So I used Mio, and basically I just fill one of these with water. I pour this in the water, and that is basically what has been working for me.
Now that has electrolytes in it and stuff?
Yeah, and it has a little bit of caffeine and some B vitamins and things like that. So it is definitely not as efficient as the electrolyte powders are. But I'm drinking so much water as a result, it kind of offsets it.
Well, I think those are good for an everyday type of thing where it's like, hey, they encourage you to drink more water all the time versus I keep those things right because I actually don't like lemon lime taste. I think it's disgusting. But those lemon lime packets are I just got to pound some electrolytes and get some salts in and stuff. So, Andrew, do you have any tips to add to that? Are you an electrolyte fan?
Yeah, what I do is I like to bring sea salt. Now, Redmond's Real Salt is the bag that I usually have with me.
Oh, yeah.
Just regular sea salt, even if it's coarse, it's totally fine. One thing, too, is a big metal bottle. Take that with you and take a cooler with
Mhm.
ice. You got your water bottles and monsters or whatever. I drink caffeine all the time. Like that's no one's gonna stop me, no matter how bad that dehydrates me. I'm going to drink caffeine. But I got a cooler with ice, water bottles. Take the ice, put it in the big metal bottle, dump the water bottles in there. You can usually get 3 water bottles in there while you're charging mags, and then just put some salt in that, shake it up. The sea salt is kind of like Gatorade, except it doesn't have the crazy dyes in it that give you autism. And one thing with this too, I just started an Amazon store. I'm just trying to figure out how to pull it up on Amazon to show you, but I created a shopping list.
You sure did,
for the range, and that stuff is in there.
Nice.
Yeah, we should share that out on the link somehow. We'll figure out how to add that maybe to the description and stuff so people can take a look at your Amazon shopping profile too, because there's some good. I actually went through it. There's some good stuff on there.
I did too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
If you guys ever have any ideas on what else to add, just let me know. I think it's like after you get 20,000 subscribers, then Amazon just like right away will okay you to have a store.
Nice.
Just to address something in the comments, it is water. Like
water.
So Max is special because he's from Philadelphia.
Yes.
And
Philly.
apparently there's D's in the word water. Which my daughter now speaks like that. Because we moved into Pennsylvania.
She's finally got a proper accent. I like it.
Andrew, you're originally from the Midwest, right? You're or like you grew up formative years in like Minnesota, right?
Yeah, I was born in Hawaii, and then when I was 10 months old, I moved to Minnesota, and I was there until 19. Then I went to California and then around the world while I was in the Marine Corps, and then I moved back to Minnesota, and then been in Florida since like 2017.
So do you also make fun of people that say words wrong, like water in Minnesota too?
See, a lot of people don't realize that I'm from Minnesota, except if they hear me say bag, because I'll say like bag. I guess sometimes that's the only little hint of it that I have. Personally, Midwest accents annoy me. They in Minnesota would make fun of people who called soda.
Soda.
Yeah, right. I always called it soda, so I didn't see what the big deal was.
Because they're weird. They like they drink pop, right?
Yeah, they call it pop, which makes no fucking sense anymore.
Soda. Or you know what's real weird? I've seen parts of the country where people call it like Sprite, or like it's Coke, right? Like everything's a Coke. Like if it's Sprite, it's a Coke. It's like no.
Well, it's all owned by Coke.
It is. So, I mean, we're all owned by Coke.
Far off.
We're all owned.
You know what? There's some good knowledge bombs being dropped in the chat here by Crystal Fox, one of our good friends. Some options out there from Pedialyte and like there's everyone makes electrolyte stuff.
I mean, find whatever you like that you'll drink and drink it.
Yeah, actually, that's why I really like your Mio suggestion, Max, because like anything that encourages you to drink more water so that you get ahead of the hydration curve instead of behind it is a huge bonus. So like the more you can drink beforehand, pre-hydrate and, get those electrolytes up, the better you're going to be, especially during like a class. Man, I remember I was in Camden, my first trip down to Camden at a tactical response class. And it wasn't even that hot, of course. It was just humid. And I was pounding water. I had a gallon jug of water, and I was just trying to drink it all day. And I was just flushing my whole system out. And I didn't know at the time that I was just like I was falling out. And I'm like, how could I be dying from high dehydration? It's because I wasn't staying on top of the electrolytes.
Like I literally work in a frying pan. So in the summertime, I'm in a parking lot, and I'm in and out of steel containers. So, it's 150 degrees in steel containers. So the Mio being added to the water and me drinking more as a result has 100% made a huge difference between how I'm feeling at the end of the day and otherwise.
So drink water, everybody. That is your training tip for this evening. Hydrate or die, as we've put out a T-shirt that says.
And my wife is commenting in the comments that she would use Gatorade Zero, and also everything in Philly is called John.
Oh, the Johns. Yeah.
Everything's a John.
Can you pass that John over here?
Yeah, John
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah. Look
This
at that,
John
John.
right here.
Yeah. Oh, weird. Phillies are weird.
Or perfect.
Okay, so we've gone through our training tip. We've got
Yes.
one last section before we get into our discussion topics,
I need to pull up mine.
and
now.
it's our traditional, our fan favorite. Actually, I have no idea if the fans actually like this,
I
but
think they do. I want to believe they do.
I want to believe they do because I put on a stupid voice at the beginning of bulletin
You
points each time
put on
in the
a-
hopes
A
that people like it.
tremendous voice, sir.
So we'll do a quick bulletin points for you all because in my head you're all yearning for it. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Walter Cronkite, eat your heart out.
For May 17th, 2024, these are your bulletin points. First up is a sitting United States Senator on trial for federal corruption charges finally getting what he deserves. And will the state of Pennsylvania pass a law to restrict the ability of residents to obtain a carry permit without additional training? These stories tonight and more, including a special guest from Florida, on tonight's Berm Limits Live.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
I messed up in the middle there a little bit.
That's okay.
Andrew, we're going to give you the option, sir. Which would you like to talk about first? Would you like to talk about a United States senator like shit in the bed and getting tried for corruption, or
PA is less free,
or PA being less free?
So did I hear you right? They said what did they say with PA exactly?
Well, why don't you go into it,
okay,
Max?
so there was a bill proposed in PA in the judiciary, and it's Bill 1250, and it's talking about the idea of making safety training mandatory for gun owners. So to get your carry permit, you would have to take a certain amount of certified PA training.
Probably a NRA basic pistol
They're not
course or
even
something.
they're not even going into that. Like it's so vague. It's not even funny.
Let's talk about that because that's one where, guys who are entering our circle usually think they have the right answer until they understand what it really means. So
it's being proposed by Ceasefire PA,
of course,
known for their freedom-loving ways
and their really intelligent solutions on everything.
Yes,
I'm guessing they have a lot of training, right?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're very experienced. It's being pushed by Representative Stephen Kinsey, Christina Sappi, and Dorisha Parker.
Well, fuck all them.
Yeah, fuck all them is right. They're comparing it basically to getting your license for driving a car. Like if you have to get a license to drive your car and do training to be able to drive a car, you should have to do the same to be able to own a gun. 9 other states across this country have laws that are very similar. PA would be the 10th if it passes.
There used to be more. Like I think your state of Florida there, Andrew, used to have I guess maybe in the carry permit side, there's still a requirement if you get a carry permit, but you guys are constitutional carry now, right?
Yeah, so you can carry a gun. You don't need a permit. But if you live in Florida, you should get your permit because we have other gay laws. Like you have to wait 5 days before you can take your gun home. Or if you have your permit, then you don't have to wait 5 days.
And another interesting point that I thought is this would establish the Firearms Safety and Enforcement Fund, which just screams place for us to pull money from to do other things that we want to do. It was sent to the judiciary, so we don't know. That happened on May 24th of 2023. So it's still a pending bill. I could not find any information whether or not it had passed support. It sounds like it was pretty bipartisan as far as like the Democratic side of things. It passed cleanly through, but it's still in motion.
Yeah, it sounds like Pennsylvania is just pissed off that they just haven't, or at least the Democrats in Pennsylvania are like, well, but all these other states have more rules on their carry permits. Like, why fix what isn't broken? Like they don't have. I mean, you know what? This is funny because I'm arguing against something that would be awesome
for you,
a big boost for the training industry. Because if people had to get training like they do in New Jersey or Maryland or
North
New York,
Carolina.
created a huge boom in people taking training across the state, which I and some other upstanding trainers, Gary Marr from Tremis Dynamics included, we all cut our prices and basically did training for free because we thought it was an absolute bullshit thing that we saw some trainers in other states like New Jersey charging ridiculous amounts for the carry permit training so people could get their licenses, which was absolutely ridiculous. So it's like it creates a boom in the industry, but it's also something that's like, I don't want that. Like
No.
I don't want to, like, as much as it's a good thing for people that I like, it's also a really bad thing for people in just, freedom.
And there's no, and the thing again, this fund that's being created as part of the bill, like, just screams corruption. It's less freedom, which we already are borderline, that kind of riding that line of a free state versus a non-free state as it is. It's just another tipping point that I don't want to see happen. And besides, they have no information here about what constitutes the training. Like, what's it going to be? Who is it going to be? Is it
Well,
gonna
that'll
be,
come with time. I wouldn't worry too
So,
much about it. They'll come up with whatever restrictive thing they
I'm
want to
sure
do.
they will.
But yeah, so now it's now they're trying to put in a bunch of shit. I'm hoping like they did in Florida, like your home state, sir. That man, really, we soon enough will probably, if we can just tip the balance and get some more Republicans in there, I'm betting sometime soon we'll be able to get the constitutional carry thing going here as well.
It would be nice.
Yeah, so it's a thing that I've had a lot of students say, like, oh, everyone should have to do this, like, before they're carrying a gun. And I go, nope. And I don't believe that training should be legislated. I think we should all be taking training and setting the example, changing culture on our own.
Yeah.
But the idea of everyone having to take training, even a basic safety course, sounds good until you think about what that means for people who choose not to do that right away.
Right.
The example, a thing I came up with in my head, but it could definitely happen to anyone, would be like, okay, so I have 2 daughters. I own a training company. I take a shit ton of classes. I'm going to be bringing them with me to classes. They're very comfortable being around guns. It's a normal thing to them. Say that before they started like realizing kind of all that was going on, I died, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they become an adult, and then they were never into guns, never learned anything about it, but suddenly they have a stalker, someone giving them threats. How can someone else tell them cannot carry a gun until they do this thing for the government?
Right.
Because we can't punish someone simply because they don't realize that they should have a gun and know how to use it.
Yeah,
right?
I agree completely. Like I think the great thing about guns is that they are an immediate equalizer with very little amounts of proficiency needed.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can theoretically pick up, and this is why people are scared of them, because without a lot of training, you can pick it up and you can be quote unquote dangerous. You can be capable very quickly. So like the fact that like we're hampering people that could need them, domestic violence victims, or people that have threats in their lives, or just people that have to go places and protect themselves. The fact that you're saying, well, you can't get the gun because you haven't gone through a 40-hour or 16-hour or however many hour training session is like, that can be a barrier that gets people killed. Like 100%, it will, by statistics, at some point cause somebody to die because they did not have access to an equalizer.
Yep.
Right.
And it's just wrong.
Yeah. And Crystal just one thing that she just posted, there's mandatory training and testing to get a driver's license. However, there is a difference between a right and a privilege.
She's a smart one.
Yep.
That Crystal.
On the head.
Yep. There were a few comments I saw in there that were interesting. I think I saw Rob Bermudez mention that I think in New Jersey it's not necessarily required to have a a training thing anymore. It was when I went through it and got my New Jersey permit. You did have to show proof of training. So I don't know what it is now. Don't care. But all the states, all those like, newly like minted like carry states, the New Jerseys, the New Yorks, the Marylands, they're coming up with every hurdle and barrier that they possibly can. So
and they will continue to.
And Pennsylvania, I guess those Democrats in Pennsylvania are just like, yeah, let's try and make it harder too.
Someone referred
Fuckers.
to Fetterman as a national treasure. I thought that was interesting.
If Sloth from the Goonies is a national treasure, I guess Fetterman is too.
Shit.
One thing on that too is I've overheard conversations of instructors saying like they were against constitutional carry for Florida, and I was like, like, okay, so you think that you should still be the one teaching the permit class and issuing those? And the thing I think in my mind, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to say that you have to do the same amount of training I do before you can teach that class. How likely are you to do that?
Right.
Because the reality is that the people that want this legislation, they don't have any fucking training anyways.
No, they've got people that protect them. They have armed guards.
They have armed guards. They don't need to,
Well, even the instructors that want it, the guys that have certified listed on their website.
Sure.
Yeah, well, they also want the money from it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes that took advantage of that situation. I mean, it's great that we got the our rights restored to us in certain states, like in New Jersey. I'm happy to see that it led to people being able to carry guns, but man, it pissed me off when I saw people taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
But
the bottom line with it is that all gun laws, including permits, including wanting people to get training, and including background checks even, are an infringement. And the background checks one sounds crazy, but if you think about it, I don't know what to do for people with mental disabilities. I don't have the answer for that. But if we're worried about criminals getting access to guns, maybe we shouldn't be letting criminals back on our streets because they do have access to guns.
I couldn't agree more. Like we have plenty of things in place. They don't like, no one enforces those, yet they keep adding on more that somehow seem to affect regular people a lot more than those that shouldn't have guns in the first place. Like, it's just it's too big of a trend. It's the trend that we've seen, and we talk about a bunch on the podcast. So, but super interesting, and it was a good find, man. I didn't realize that was coming through in Pennsylvania, but I have one other story for us this evening. A fun one. It's actually, I know this is terrible, because if it was any other person on earth, like any other citizen of the United States, I'd be like, no, that person is innocent until proven guilty. Like, they get the benefit of the doubt. The government doesn't get to like railroad them. But when it's a sitting U.S. senator, I am all for people saying that they're guilty before being proven to be innocent. Because fuck them. They're all corrupt pieces of shit. And that's what you get. You get that because you took on the role of senator, right? Because like, and this hits home for me because it's from my home state of New Jersey. I know there's a few people on the stream that actually have or from that same state, and there's this piece of shit, Robert Menendez, who's been senator for like a million years. Why is it snowing?
I don't.
That's
know.
Weird.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, we'll just go with it.
It went away.
It did.
It did.
But it was like twinkling.
Strange. Yes.
So Robert Menendez has been a senator in New Jersey for like my whole lifetime, I think, and he slid on by under some federal corruption charges, I think in like the 2010s or something like that. But he's back in court again. Shocker. And what actually caught my attention on this, I knew this was happening, but the thing that I really wanted to call attention to was he got absolutely fucking roasted on The Daily Show. I think it was either last night or the night before. I forget which night they had it. But I was flipping through YouTube the other night and saw the clip, and it was an absolutely awesome clip from and Jon Stewart, basically delivering this, giant combo punch.
Wait. When did Jon Stewart go back to the Daily
So that was the other thing I wanted to talk about.
When did that happen?
So I don't know if everybody knows this. Jon Stewart is back on The Daily Show, which makes me actually want to watch The Daily Show again. And he just tore him apart.
Nice.
So this, and of course his take on it is hilarious, and it's a great segment. If you get a chance to watch it, you really should. And because he tears into Menendez and then basically rips apart every senator out there, including Feinstein, or Pelosi, and all these, for insider trading and for he just basically rips
Insider
apart
trading?
everybody for all of the inside bullshit that they do in Congress. And basically telling Menendez, you don't have to be so stupid. You could have just done it the way everyone else does it and make millions of dollars. But so they found, so he got his house raided because of suspicion of corruption. And these are some of the things they found. I love this list. So they found a bunch of unaccounted for wealth, $500,000 in cash. But I mean, who doesn't have that around their house? And that was divided in a few interesting ways. He had a few bags filled with exactly $100,000. I'm in my head, I'm picturing cartoon images of what you rob a bank with
bag. They have a money mark on the bag.
A big money mark on the bag. $100,000 in a bag. He had it stuffed into shoes. And this was the best part. They had found cash stuffed into the lining of his official, congressional embroidered jacket. It looks like a varsity jacket, but it says United States Senator on it, and it's got his name on it and shit.
Yay.
They found money stuffed in the jacket, which is the most amazing representation of what politicians are. And that's how they stay warm. Is all the money that stays.
Well, they need it.
It's just insulation.
Yes.
They found hundreds of thousands of dollars of gold bars, because that's what you do.
Yeah, the wife is pointing out that apparently he tried to blame it all on the wife.
Yeah, and he there are court filings saying that he's likely going to take a defense of blaming it on his wife.
That's what you do.
Real stand-up character. And there's a bunch of other stuff that they found too, like cars and mortgage payments and less exciting things that are probably harder to prove that they came from somewhere else. But one of my favorite things was apparently, and this is one of the things that connects to the corruption, is he went on a trip to, I believe, Egypt or the Middle East somewhere, came back, and as soon as he got back, there's a search term on his they saw his search history, and he said, "How much is a 1 kilogram gold bar worth?" He got it while he was abroad.
I'm sure that wasn't payment off on anything.
But here's the funniest part. You want to know what these payments are for? Is so that he could find favorable trade deals for the halal meat industry.
Well, they are on every corner in Philly.
I'm a fan of halal meat carts,
and
but
I'm sure that it's a kickback to something unscrupulous.
Yeah, but he's basically made a bunch of these shady business dealings, and there's some dudes that are bribing him, and he's just making it so that they make a ton of money off of halal meat.
That's the Halloween costume this year for Halloween is a jacket that says U.S. Senator, and
with money coming out of it. the Menendez costume.
Yes, the Menendez costume.
But I wanted to bring this story up because I love seeing high-level politicians getting raked on the coals.
I have to watch that.
And B, Jon Stewart's back on the Daily Show.
Well, I mean, come on. The guy that took over for him,
Trevor Noah.
Every time he opened his mouth, I just wanted to just snatch the life out. I can't. I don't like his comedy. I'm not a fan of it. Jon Stewart, even when he's saying things I don't agree with, it's at least still funny.
Yeah. Did you see the his appearance on the Colbert Show towards the end of the pandemic, where he basically okay, so I have to give a little bit of background, and this is why I'm a big fan of Jon Stewart now. Maybe not back then, because I always thought he had a bit too much of the quote unquote liberal slant, but man, it sealed it for me that he was a centrist when he went on the Colbert Show, not the Colbert Report, the Colbert Show, the talk show that he does on CBS, and basically did a whole bit on how it is far too much of a coincidence that the virus that appeared in Wuhan, China, was not directly linked to the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus lab in Wuhan, China. Like he's like basically just throwing it out there, like when it was like racist to say that, and it was verboten.
Yeah, see, I remember that story coming out about him talking about that, but in my brain, I was like, yeah, I knew that from the beginning.
Like, duh. But dude, you should see Colbert like squirming in his chair because he knows that his like the corporate masters that control CBS are gonna like kill the feed and like burn the building down so that nobody, like, because nobody wants to hear it.
There was probably someone that turn it off,
kill the feed. So like he did that, and I've always been like I've always thought he was awesome, and like he does a lot of work for like 9/11 victims and the first responders and stuff. So he's a good dude.
Yeah,
don't agree with him on everything,
but here's the thing: that's okay. I don't have to agree with everything politically someone believes or everything someone says to be entertained by them. Like that's not. I don't need that. You know what I mean? And I could listen to someone's opinion on something, especially when they're not trying to take their opinion, put prickly ends on it and shove it down your throat.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm
just happy he's back on a Daily Show.
Yeah.
I bet you their ratings doubled.
I'm going to watch it again. Like I stopped watching it with Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
And Mark Curtis, they kept putting people with British accents on TV to insult us. Yeah, they do that.
They do.
Yeah. But I don't think Trevor Noah was English. He was South African. Like you ever notice South Africans? They always sound like they're out of breath.
Yes.
It's like okay, like we're gonna.
Well, they're from a dry climate,
yeah.
So when they get to a humid climate, they can't take it.
I was annoying the hell out of Ashley with South African music today.
South
Nice.
African music.
What's South African music?
De Antwoord.
Oh, I love their videos.
It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Did you ever
it's
see
like
the movie Chappie?
Oh, I saw that.
So the guy and girl that are in it, the gangsters, that's
Yeah.
the actors are in that group.
I'm a metalhead, but I love the Antwoord.
Oh, their stuff is awesome.
It's like Tool with more speed,
Yes, and
I'm talking about drugs.
yes, a lot of meth. There's a lot of meth going on there. A lot of meth.
All right. So that was our bulletin points section.
And please let us know in the comments, like how much do you love the voice? Like it's the voice. The voice he does is just
the bulletin point
is just
spot on.
Mwah.
You could make a lot of good memes with that voice, like taking old newsreels and stuff and just make a mockery of what's happening in real life right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Kirk Heller is freaked out by De Antwoord.
Yeah, man, me too.
What is De Antwoord?
That's the group we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Show him I think you're freaky and I like you a lot after this.
I think
I have like a playlist of their stuff because I've delved deep into, and I don't know what the one kid that's in all the videos, like he's got some kind of I don't know if it's genetic disease or whatever, but yeah, it's interesting. Good stuff.
All right. So
there you go. There are our bulletin points.
There's the bulletin points. Andrew, thank you for sticking around through those. Now we get to grill you.
Yes.
Okay.
We get to hear your viewpoints.
Where are your bags of money?
Yeah.
And do they smell like soap?
And which jacket is all of your well, they all smell like soap.
They all
because
smell like
they're
soap,
in his house.
Yeah.
If anybody has ever bought a piece of equipment from Combat Art Training, which you absolutely should, by the way, because they make, or I should say, he makes some of the best gear. I mean, I just recently made an EDC video on my birthday, and man, I was picking up all this stuff, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've gotten a lot of like Combat Art Training things in the past year, and several of which are on me all the time.
All the time.
Like your fanny pack is like my favorite fanny pack. I love I thought it was, I'll be honest. And I hope you don't mind me saying this. I thought when you first handed me that EDC flashlight shock cord adapter thing, I was like, the fuck is this? Like, it's just a piece of shock cord with some like tubing on it. And I was like, thanks, man, because you handed that to me or sent it to me or something like that. And like that, I have like 2 or 3 of them now, and they're on flashlights all
Yes.
the time.
Yeah.
Like it's totally one of those things where it's like that can't be that cool. It's too
It
simple, and I love it.
Yeah.
The
That's a lot of people's favorite item.
yeah, it's
Like,
great.
all the time people are like, oh, I've been using your thing. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I forgot you had one, you know?
My wife just commented saying we have so much stuff from Andrew that at this point our house is also starting to smell like soap.
I have a couple of bars of soap made by your wife up in my office. So like my office smells like lemongrass type of stuff.
Oh, I love that one.
That one smells really good. But yeah, so like when you buy, you get a whole experience when you buy
Yes.
things from Andrew, because not only do you get a quality piece of gear, you get the scent of the day.
Yes.
Which what's really funny is if you smell it while Andrew is in your presence, he will wonder why you're sniffing things,
Yes.
because he is so nose blind that he can't smell his own the soap anymore. So you're smelling this thing like, what does it smell like? He's like, it doesn't smell like anything. I don't smell it.
I mean, like Andrew makes, in my opinion, bar none, the best ankle kit. Period. Like
It's a very robust
I
ankle
have
kit.
used them all. The one that is on my ankle right now is his. He makes the best dedicated off body carry. Period. The FOOP is great. It is not dedicated off body. His fanny pack is designed to carry a gun off body. It is the best off body carry that I have ever used. So I cannot say enough good things. See, there's his here. Let's play show and tell.
Oh God.
If you want one, order it right now, because I still haven't gone and shut off all the orders on my website, but I'm about to.
The only problem with this one on the
It's
screen right now
best
is
camo color
that it's
ever.
I can't believe you actually stooped so low, Andrew, as to make something.
He even did orange thread.
I was thinking about lighting it on fire, but then I was like, well,
oh, maybe I'll make some money off it
He
instead.
did pay for
you're-
it. So. No, but I can't say enough good things. And Andrews is my brother. He's my friend. And I am always happy to support him and always happy to put his stuff out there. Every class I have run since FAFO has been the bandolier. I mean, I ran it all through.
Yeah, the bandolier is good shit.
I mean, like, yeah, just across the board. Check out his stuff, guys. You won't be regretted.
Yeah, no, I keep gaining new combat art things, combat art training stuff, and I'm like, I love it. Like, you make good stuff, and aside from making awesome gear, which I know sometimes we have to like try to convince you to tie yourself down to a chair to do, you also have a great mind for training and teaching, and you're an awesome student. And that's why we wanted to have you on tonight, sir. Because for our inaugural launch, inaugural?
Is that inaugural?
Yeah, I mean, but that
Or
means it'll
water.
be 1 year, like each yearly thing,
Or water.
or water. Like for our launch of the live podcast, I wanted to make sure that we could bring on a guest that really complements what we try to embody, and I think you do that, all around, and you're excited about everything. You train with everybody, so I think you have one of the best minds that I love bouncing ideas off of, because you're out there, man. Like it's good to see you.
Thanks, man. And all these kind words. I gotta give credit first to Max. He's connected me with so many people. I think he connected Mike and myself together.
Yep.
And these are two dudes that I always call and talk to, even just bullshit. But like whenever I got something crazy going on in my brain and I need to have someone to communicate with, these are two of the guys I always call.
And it happens at 10:30 at night.
Yes. And I don't, if you're my friend and you get annoyed by me calling you late, it's not going to work.
I feel honored that I have been able to be there for you to bounce ideas off of, man. So,
and there's also some new gear coming out, like Mac. I don't even know if Mike's seen it all yet, but I know Max has seen it. Don't tell him what it is, but here, after I get caught off on all my orders, I'm just going to drop some new designs that I've got.
Yeah,
bombs.
He's got some stuff in the works, including a backpack for medical stuff that may or may not at some point show up. By the way, just to say hello to some people, Jody is in the chat. Hey, Jody. I saw Butch check in there saying hello.
Monsieur
Hello,
Becker.
sir. Also saw Shinde saying hello, ladies. I'm sure he was referring to the Florida man. But yeah, so again, like we see all this praise, and I promise I'm not a shill willing to be a shill. We promise we're not being shills. We actually use this stuff, so check him out. And if you haven't had a chance to train with Andrew, like, do it. He has a very unique perspective on training. He managed to completely and utterly screw up my dry practice, which is awesome. And yeah.
Well, while I'm trying to fix something over here, Max, why don't you kick us off on our first discussion topic for this
Are we
evening?
doing EDC to start with?
Well, whichever one you want to start with.
Yeah, let's start with EDC.
Okay, you start there.
So recently, Mike made a video showing his EDC. He does an annual thing where every year since, 1 year ago, he shows what his EDC is, what it's developed into. And we wanted to ask you, Andrew, like, what do you see as your most important piece of kit besides the gun? Like, or even maybe excluding the gun, what do you think is the most important piece of EDC that you carry every day?
Man, it could easily be argued as your cell phone.
Got it.
I mean, that's kind of a normal thing everyone carries, but I think everyone should really recognize the fact that your cell phone can get good guys with guns over there to you. It can get an ambulance to you. It can get a working vehicle to you when your car breaks down. Like, communication is super important, and like these are cheating. That's also kind of why I'm, made so many things for like the Velcro organizer book and stuff like that, is being able to have power going to your phone and all your electronics. It's pretty important. It's easy to get lazy on. But after that, because that's a normal thing everyone carries, medical easily.
Yeah. I think you're right though about the cell phone. I mean, people kind of gloss over it, but the reality is, like, if you need to get medical response, it's going to be your cell phone. If you need to get help, it's more than likely going to be your cell phone is going to be used. You don't want other people calling 911 for you.
Nope.
If you don't know this, take some force training, and you'll find out the hard way. Well, no, the easy way to find out the hard way. But yeah, I think the cell phone is huge, and in medical. Like,
yeah.
I made this statement, and I say it still. If you're carrying a gun and you're not carrying medical, then fuck you. Like, there's no excuse. There's a million different ways to do it. Shove it in your pocket, wear an ankle rig. There's organizers for your pockets. Like, carry medical. I don't think there's anyone right now that's doing any training that's legitimate that's not saying that. And if they're not saying that, then and actually doing it, then I don't know. I don't know if I can take them seriously.
And like, we've had the conversation with Kayla at Tactical Response before, but like, what medical should I carry? And she's like, if I can only carry one item, it'd be a tourniquet. If I could carry two, it'd be 2 tourniquets. And then after that, you can kind of start picking what the stuff is. But I would say after that, combat gauze. And then after that, I would worry about like chest seals and decompression needles and stuff like that. But bleeding and breathing, having stuff with you to take care of that could literally be life and death.
Yeah.
Trying to make a tourniquet, out of stuff laying around is something that people who have never tried to do that before suggest. Or trying to do it with a belt is something that people who suck at medical suggest that they will do.
Yeah.
Just buy a tourniquet, carry it, buy a second one, practice with it a lot, and then buy a whole bunch more.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, of all the medical items that you should be carrying on your person, I think the one thing that's the hardest to reproduce is the tourniquet. Mm-hmm. Could you pack a wound with a t-shirt? You probably could. But one thing that I think I found in a different, Chuck Peoples of Homestead Medical kind of, he ran a class that we recently did. We talked about the live tissue lab, and he changed my perspective a little bit on what I find importance in to put in my medical kits. We had a lot of different things that we encountered with injuries, and the tourniquet was very rarely the right answer. And I still think the tourniquet is, the primary piece, but I think I have found that I need to put more importance into things like bringing more gauze. So,
Mm.
and that's just from taking that class and firsthand on a living thing, having to do that work. Like it definitely didn't change my mind, but it gave me a different way of looking at it.
So
Remind me to make that all the gauze pouch that we were talking about making.
Yes,
all the gauze.
all the gauze.
So my mindset changed a lot from taking Chuck's class too. As a matter of fact, I could probably walk through it and share it, because I changed the way that I started carrying my my medical wallet.
Okay.
To be more while we're talking about EDC stuff, based off of like, hey, it should be more about packing or whatever. So I still have a windlass tourniquet on me. Like that's number one. I think like that was a big thing for me last year, is trying to make sure I always have a windlass tourniquet. But so I updated my medical wallet to have some more things focused on like traumatic or like packing and bleeding. So put some gauze in here. But I'd love to hear your guys' take on this, because I haven't run this by anybody yet, and doing it in front of 21 live people and whoever else watches is probably, a bit risky too, because I just don't know. But my thought is, instead, because I can't carry like an Israeli or an H&H or something that's like a compressive, like bandage. I know you can fit it in that,
I'm
but
messing with you.
I'm saying, like, to me, this is the minimum thing that I can carry with me all the time.
Got it.
Like, because I wear shorts, and I can't wear that. Would look really silly in shorts. I
think
could wear
it,
it, but
hot, especially in the multi-cam traffic.
but this is my minimum, right? So what I started carrying is a pack of compressed gauze, as well as some Celox gauze. Like that's primary. Like, hey, that's the first thing that goes on. Some packing gauze, Z-fold and stuff. And then I think I found maybe a use again for my TK4s, because I have a bunch of these, and I always thought these were kind of like, maybe they're not the best tourniquet. However, they're pretty good at creating a wide surface with a compressive wrap. So even if they're not the greatest tourniquet, and it still means I carry an extra tourniquet on me, combining these two things together to create like a big old wad of gauze. Yeah. And then using the TK4 to wrap around the gauze, you could use that as a
100%.
compression bandage.
That's basically the they say the good thing about the SWAT T is the idea that you could use it as a compression, or you could use it as a tourniquet for a child, whatever.
There was a SWAT T in here when I first got it, and I don't like those.
I think though, I would say that as good as I agree that 100% that could work, but I think like the Schlichman bandage wrap that
oh yeah, that would probably be better. I didn't have one of those.
No, I think like what he's got in his hand right there, it's what
the
Schlichmans,
yeah.
But yeah, I think repurposing something you already have, that you have on hand, that you have available, first of all, is a great idea. Because if you don't know, medical stuff gets expensive. But yeah, I agree 100%. I think that is absolutely a viable compression.
I wanted to try something that was modular, like quote unquote. Like, I have an extra set of gauze, and I have an extra tourniquet. You can't you can use like an H&H bandage or an Israeli or an Olias.
Yeah, they're big.
You can use those for those other purposes, but they don't come apart. Like you can't like take the bandage off of one and just use it as a tourniquet. So I thought that was, with what I had and stuff, and like, I think that's the fun part about EDC is figuring out what you think, and you know what, I think it's really always about being critical about what you have and not just getting comfortable with what you have going on, because you can have this shit just sit in your pocket for years on end and you can call it good, but always learning new things and then assessing whether or not that is the right thing that you should be doing, I think is important.
Yep. And at that it is 8:00. It is that time.
It is that time.
So Andrew mentioned he had a question that he could pose, and whoever has the answer that he likes the best.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, is it a definitive answer? Like, is it a question that's like a trivia response that multiple people might have the right answer to?
It's a little philosophical, not gonna lie.
Okay, philosophical. If
A little
you
bit.
have multiple choices that you like, you give me the names, or multiple answers that you like. You give me the names. I'll put those in the wheel, and then we'll have the wheel spin. I could do it manually, but
All right. Well, there's one right answer that I'm looking for.
okay. Well, in case we need a tiebreaker or multiple people have the right answer, let's see what they say.
I'm
Okay,
looking forward
everyone,
to this.
get ready to type. Here comes the question. We were talking about EDC, right?
Yep.
What should be the most expensive thing that you take with you every day?
What should be the most expensive thing that you take with you every day?
Like the thing you spent the most money on that you take with you every day.
I have an answer.
I know exactly what answer he's looking for, but
Well, do you?
yeah.
Well, am I gonna have to put you in the wheel?
No.
Like,
Well, yes.
Max can win the rail. No,
not Max. That's not Max. It's Lax Mizana.
Lax Mizanas.
Lax Mizana is
Mike, I'll text it to you right now.
Okay.
So that we know there's no favoritism, and then you can announce it. Oh shit!
Wow, everyone's getting in on it. We got a bunch of responses.
I'm sending it to. So look, see if you get the first one.
Oh
shit.
I know the first one I saw that I think had the right answer.
Okay, yeah, it's already been there a few times.
But I saw the first one I saw with the right answer. I know who it was.
Okay, so it's your training.
It's your training. Yes, of course it should be.
Yeah,
Come on, Andrew. You knew that.
The first person that answered correctly, I think, was Sam Russell.
Was he?
I believe so. If you scroll down,
I can't scroll in this one.
no.
Yeah, but it's his birthday. He already got shit today. Fuck him.
Oh wait, you know, I can open up the chat. Hold on. Hold a second. Just keep your pants on, Max.
I think it's great that we have all these people coming up with the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you know the audience, Andrew. Like
yeah.
they're switched on. Our friends are, they know what's up.
Sophisticated.
All right, I can go to the restream chat. Okay.
Now, so I'm gonna make a video showing my full EDC. I'm gonna ask that same question. All of you should, when you see that video, you should comment the wrong answers.
So
like crazy shit.
The first person to answer, I think, when you asked the question, was so Josh DeWalt had a comment about the Olays. They have a pressure point. Yes, the Olays bandages are great. And then I think while he was typing, you probably asked the question, and he came in with the response of your mind. And then Sam Russell said your training. And then Crystal said cell phone. Mark Curtis said training. Adam Hall said training. Spin and Win said your body. Mark Curtis said mindset. Your training. Your mindset. Yeah, there's a bot. I assume mindset is what you were referring to. Is that an acceptable?
Training was what I was looking for, because it's like
training.
I mean, mindset's not bad, but specifically, a thing that you check out, like
your mind it holds all the training, right?
It does, but the thing is like we're talking monetary right now.
Yep.
And that's kind of what I was going for, because we've all met people who have spent more on the pistol they carry than the skills they have to use it. Even
very true.
To the point where, there's lots of guys who haven't shot a full 1,000 rounds through every gun they own,
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, Max, you're going to look at this screen with me over here.
I'm looking at the screen.
You're going to tell me which names to add to this wheel. So Sam Russell.
Mark Curtis. Adam Hall. Shinde. Rob
Bermudez.
I think that's all I see, unless you want to scroll down some more.
Scroll down. Hey guys, give us a heads up if we're missing anybody, because if you said the word training, I want to make sure I get your name in here.
But I think that's everybody.
I think that's everyone. Sam Russell, Mark Curtis, Adam Hall, Shinde, and Rob Bermudez.
All right. We're going to spin a wheel.
We're going to spin the wheel. Okay, let me see if I can get this set up again.
And this is legit, people. I'm watching him. I am observing. You're look at the names as they go around.
Look, I got them all on here, right?
Yep.
I got Rob Bermudez, Sam Russell, Mark Curtis, Adam Hall, and Shinde. Just one last check, see if if there's anybody else that wants to
We're looking specifically for the word
the word training. I don't see anybody saying that they got it. Yeah, Shinde will just keep it in a box anyway. But it's outside of the box, Crystal. I already took it out of the box so that we could show it on the screen.
Yes, our fingerprints and DNA are all over it.
This wheel is so fucking slow.
It is slow. I haven't spun it yet.
Yeah,
so.
it's not spinning.
Oh, okay.
It's just chilling out, waiting for us to do something with it.
There's a bunch of people who are like, "Oh, it's on me."
Drum roll, please.
So, we'll do the drum roll. Wait, is there a button for me to hit that?
I think you click the center thing.
Oh, click to. Oh, yeah, the big thing that says
Yes,
click to spin or
yes.
press Control Enter. All right, ready? Here we go. Wow, it takes forever to start.
Mark Curtis. Congratulations, sir.
Hello, sir, and thank you for participating. You have won the Midwest Industries 12.5-inch free float combat rail from our friends at Midwest Industries. Congratulations. Okay. Oh, yeah, Dustin wasn't in the chat, so everyone had a chance.
Because otherwise Dustin would have won.
See, the problem is if Dustin won this, he'd have to then win a whole nother gun, which
Well,
is
that'll
totally
happen at the
within
muster.
his...
Yeah, that'll happen this August.
Yeah. Okay, so we've done the spin thing. Sorry,
Yes.
that was a little janky, everybody. Hopefully we'll get that ironed out for next time. But yeah, so now we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Now that we have given away the big ticket prize for the evening, the Midwest Combat Rail. And we've got more. By the way, they sent me a whole box of stuff. So whenever we do one of these bulletin lives, we've got I've got a few other things, some armorer's tools. Maybe that'll be on the next one. They sent me 3 AK things, so maybe we'll do an AK giveaway at one point.
No one uses AKs anymore.
Man, I think Becker would probably.
We should have given away all the AK stuff while he's watching and can't participate, because he would surely want the AK stuff.
Yeah. There's a couple of AK things. There's actually the one that I wanted to save, which actually I think was I love the rails. The rails are amazing. I try to put them on all my guns. But I actually really enjoy the Midwest Industries combat sights. Those are they make the best backup sights.
Yeah. Do you see Crystal's comment about Dustin?
Oh yeah, he's just going to invalidate his tickets when he signs up for the muster.
Yes.
That was hilarious. Andrew, are you coming to the muster this summer? Are you going to be sticking around for the week?
You better be.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We're doing. Oh yeah, and everyone who's going to be at the muster needs to sign up for patrolling the homestead.
Yes.
We're doing that the weekend before. It's going to be
Terrible
myself and Jay
at
Gibson.
Yeah.
And I need to talk more about it. But yeah, we're patrolling the homestead. Hey, you don't need ammo, but you can totally bring your gun. Hey, you can have ammo too, but it's not a shooting class. It's a tactically moving around as a team class and a planning class. And it does include patrolling at night. So if you got night vision, thermals, if you have drones, bring all that shit, and you're gonna love it. It's a real fun class to teach, especially because it's it's not just pressing the trigger every time. Sometimes if you do a lot of that already, it's kind of I get this, but thinking about how to get from point A to point B safely without getting shot, preferably without pressing the trigger, would be good too.
Yeah, I mean it is an amazing class. I got to take it last year. I really enjoyed it. And then being able to take FAFO afterwards was great, because I got to basically take all the things that I had learned and then be able to do them and shoot. But yeah, great class. If you're going to be around, sign up for it. We don't get Andrew North here this far very often, so take advantage of it while you can.
The link that I just put up there, the one that says bulletin.net, that is a link to patrolling the homestead. That you can check out that Andrew and Jay Gibson are teaching this summer. Are all of your classes on bulletin.net yet, Andrew?
No,
No. Well,
I
that's.
need to.
I guess.
Hey,
I guess this is my way of putting you on the spot.
I'm actually planning on doing that. Right now, I only have 2 sessions, 3 sessions scheduled at Aries that I need to post on my website, and then I am waiting on the other range that I'm using to approve the list of dates that I
Mhm.
sent.
See, the reason I know that Patrolling the Homestead was on bulletin.net
Because you
is
put it there?
I put it
Yeah,
there.
shocker.
Because I wanted to make sure that people knew about it.
Well, I appreciate that, sir.
No, dude, we're here for you, man. So you guys should definitely check that out. But yeah, so we've got some awesome things coming up, and you've got I think this is going out to your audience as well, correct? So briefly give us an update, because you've got Zach Bush coming down to you, right?
Mhm.
Like he's training down at Aries. Jared Reston, you just had him on a live stream. He's teaching classes down by you, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure they can all get the dates from looking at the website and stuff. But just who else you got coming down there? Because like you got some great people coming down to train in Leesburg.
Yeah, we so right now the way it's going, I'm looking at the schedule. May 25th and 26th at Aries, we're having Jared Reston there for a 2-day performance pistol, and then guys, if you've been strictly doing like our circle of training, like tactical response, Tremis, myself, like it's good to go out beyond our circle and do their stuff too. So performance pistol is a little bit outside our circle. It's kind of like if you took competition shooting and mixed it with gunfighting, that's about the feel of it. And if you've if you've ever been like, man, I wish I could shoot faster, more accurate, that's the class you need. And then so May 25th, 26th, doing Reston's class, and then June 8th, definitive training solutions, entangled gunfighting, and then June 9th, Sunday, is definitive shotgun. Then this summer, I'm going to be going out to tactical response first, and the 2 days before alumni weekend, I will be doing Patrolling the Homestead. It will be on tactical responses range. And then July 27th and 28th, I'll be doing Patrolling the Homestead up in Pennsylvania, and both those classes are with Jay Gibson Tactical Response. And then the one I need to update is Sonny Pazikis is coming back to Florida, doing kind of like 2 of his classes put together as a hybrid, and that's going to be in the fall of this year. That's on his website already. I just need to update mine with it.
Yeah, you absolutely are getting a awesome group of trainers coming down there, and that's all because you don't want to travel.
It's the same reason I try and get people up here to do stuff. So cool, man. So that's awesome. I'm super impressed by the community that you're helping build down there. I think Aries is a great facility, and a lot of opportunity down there for some great training. And I love going down there as well. There's a great student base, and there's awesome trainers down there that and people who make gear. I mean, Florida's just rich territory for awesome people. So,
and it's Florida. You'll be sweaty. There's soap.
Yeah, true. And you don't need to shower. You just stand outside long enough, and you will just get drenched.
Yeah, the coldest day of training I've had was with Tremis.
Yes, that was wet. That was we just did the GM master class for Tremis Dynamics, and it was pretty wet, but nowhere near as wet as those 2 days in Florida. Hey, by the way, before I forget, Mark Curtis, if you're still listening, I put my email address in there. I need you to send me an email with your address and contact info.
Or don't.
And we'll have to figure out somebody else to give this to, because I don't have your info.
Like Lax Mizana.
Lax Mizana. All right, so, Max, what do you think about ending tonight on our last topic?
I think it's a great idea.
I think we could chat about it for a little bit. Andrew, this particular topic came up the other day while we were, I think it was a Facebook discussion.
I can't remember who posted it, but it was basically comparing two different targets at the end of class.
Yeah. So okay, did you see that one? So it's
Yeah.
two targets. On the left side target is a bunch of scattered hits, all within the A zone of a humanoid target. On the right side was a bunch of hits in a very small circle with very little flyers outside of that circle on that same type of A zone target. So essentially showing the difference of somebody who is making the
One
hits
sec.
within A zone.
Go ahead, Mark. I was answering Mark. Go ahead. Continue.
Okay. So making the hits, all making them within the A zone, or is it about drilling holes into the same hole over a bunch of times? So I guess the question was, and what that discussion kind of went to is, what are the limits that we should be pushing in training? Like, what is an acceptable hit?
So in training and in practice, it's like you want to push till the wheels fall off,
Mm-hmm.
but you also want to test yourself. And so basically, like, yeah, you want that target that looks more like a shotgun pattern than a sniper rifle, right?
Yeah.
You want to get that because then you will see where your failures are. You will see what things that you need to correct. Is you can shoot slow all day and hit stuff. That's fine. But adding stress, adding speed, adding just different variables that make it harder. Moving, okay, that's one thing fucking no one does enough of. I know because I've posted my shooting on the move class several times and no one's ever signed up for it.
That's like you're like force on force training.
Right. But yeah, all that stuff you need to push till the wheels fall off. But at the same time, it's like, you can practice shooting tight groups, but that's like one specific skill. Okay. And maybe there's a drill where they want you to do that. If that's what they're asking for, then that's what you're doing. But the rest of the time you should be pushing it. And then there's this other time where you should be testing yourself. So like, for instance, the end of Carry Pistol 1 and Rifleman 1, when we're doing the cover drill, and it's like you're moving from spot to spot, trying to work cover correctly. And I'm going to tell you to shoot faster if you're shooting too slow, if you're taking too much time or screwing around with your reload too much or whatever. But there we shouldn't have misses. They don't have to be perfect surgical hits. You should be shooting like, if I don't stop him now, I'm the one who's getting shot, but you should still be in control of it. So that's kind of a test to see, all right, hey, I felt good about the speed I was doing everything. I felt like I was working the angles correctly. I was being tactical about my movement. But however, I realized that at that distance, brain shots are not something I'm good at yet. So then I'll have to go back and practice that.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
So I think what I loved from that discussion was it really highlighted the idea of pushing it, like whatever it is.
I think it's different for every person.
It is, and that was my takeaway from this thing. And like as you're explaining some things that you teach, Andrew, and in my head, I'm thinking of some things that I've taught in the past too, and classes that I've taken, because I always try to balance the teaching aspect versus the student aspect. And really, this topic comes down to our favorite phrase in the world for everything, which is, it depends.
Yep.
Like, okay, is it like in training? Would you ever want a target that has a bunch of holes drilled into the center of it, like using the same hole a bunch of times? Yeah, sure. If that's what you're trying to work on, like if you're trying to push your accuracy, then yeah, your target should look like, or you're striving for that target to have, one ragged hole. If you're striving to push speed, then it shouldn't. Or either that, or you're just really freaking good and you can't move fast enough to miss, which is nobody's that good. Maybe there's somebody is, but like the idea is, if you haven't, if you're working one of those parameters, if you're trying to push a parameter, which you should be doing in almost any type of drill, either you're pushing your ability to move, you're pushing your ability to be accurate, you're pushing your ability to think, your ability to communicate, your ability to aim, your ability to use cover. That should be the main focus of your drill. And if you're pushing one of those things, other stuff will slip. That's the whole nature of it. And like, you're never awesome at everything, but you work on individual things in drills so that you can get better at that one thing. And then hopefully, if the day ever comes where you need to use them, they all work at a general level of proficiency, right? So for me, that and I'll tell this quick story, although I'd never really make any story quick because I talk too much.
Way too much.
Yeah. In the words of Jay Gibson, long story longer. I took a class once, and I loved the class. It was a great class. I won't mention who it is because this might look like it's closed-minded, if you will. But I was one of the students in the class, and there were probably like 10 students or so, and they had us do a lateral movement drill with a rifle. So moving from left to right, like one student at a time, probably moving about, I'd call it 20, 25 yards at a distance of 10 yards from the target, give or take. And they did not prescribe how they wanted us to do it. They said, hey, we want you to move laterally and we want you to make hits. Okay, so I try to be very like literal when I hear the directions in a class because I don't want to have my preconceptions limit what I think I can do. So if they don't tell me, hey, I want you to crawl, I'm not going to crawl unless I have to, if that's the only way I feel comfortable in completing the drill. So I was like, almost the last student, and every student would walk and they would do like a crisscrossing leg thing because they didn't teach us how to necessarily move laterally. And I've taken a lot of classes to move laterally. Like everyone crept and crawled, like, basically just like side shuffled very slowly while shooting at the target every other step or so. And they were making great hits. Every single one of them was in the A zone. It was like, and like all almost on ragged holes because they're basically stopping in between shots. So then came my turn and I was like, well, nobody's really done this, but I want to try something. And for me, it was a class where, hey, this is a controlled environment. There's nobody downrange. It's a giant berm. I'm safe enough to move quickly without flagging anybody. Let me see what I can do to try and push my movement. So when I moved as fast as I could, and I made hits on the target, but not in the A zone. I had a couple of C's, some B's. I might have gotten one in the A, but you wouldn't have been able to tell because it was a giant ragged hole in the center. But I definitely had some outside of there, but nothing that was like, over the berm or whatever. They were like, whoa, what are you doing? You're crazy, man. What are you going so fast for? Like, nobody needs to move that fast. I'm like, huh.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
So I misread like what their teaching style was because I thought that would be an acceptable thing. It's not, because it wasn't in my mind anything near unsafe. But it depends on what the atmosphere is, like depends on what their level of comfort is in terms of pushing your own limits or what their conceptions are of what a student can do safely, which I'll admit is something that I've seen a lot of variants of in different trainers. Is like I think the greatest limiting factor of what a student can do isn't necessarily what that student can do.
No.
It's what the trainer believes they can teach them.
Yeah, I mean, like during the live tissue, the live fire portion of that class, watching Lewis let people have that latitude to push their limits was awesome to see.
Yeah.
He was able to, even though the drill was not really prescribed, there was no instruction to it. Two of the guys in the class, like they basically let the other person know what they needed to do by the rate of gunfire and how they were shooting the target. And there was no verbal communication past that. And it was definitely not what the other people had done, but he allowed them to be able to do that, which I think is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting, that whole conversation, and like what defines our limits? Like, what should we be pushing?
Yeah.
And I think it's different for everyone, but that's why I love good, like well-designed drills. Some of them test multiple things at once, but a good drill, especially for like fundamental levels, is like pushing one thing at a time. And you'd push it until the wheels come off.
And for some people, it's movement. For some people, it's accuracy. For some people, it's just getting out of tunnel vision. Like it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to have anything to do with the trigger or a gun. It could have to do with just your headspace and where you're at and being able to see the big picture and think critically as you're doing things.
Yeah.
Now, and what was it that the instructor said initially when you did that drill, Mike? What were the directions?
The directions were I want you to move laterally and make hits.
Okay, make hits, not I want you to get A zone hits.
No, like it wasn't like they were very accuracy focused. I will admit, like, and that was evident in a lot of the other drills. And truthfully, I could have picked up on that and probably, like, intuited that they probably do, like, because they didn't correct anybody, they didn't try pushing anybody to go faster. So I admit, like, I pushed an issue because I thought it would be, well, not fun, but I thought, hey, this could be an interesting point for me to learn something if I try to push into this class a little bit harder than what it seems like the general level of tolerance and or skill is, because I want to see what I can do. Well, because I want to get my training value out of it.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing too, where I'm like, there's been different things said about shooting on the move, like either be moving really good or be shooting really good. And I'm like, what are the circumstances of the thing that's going on, right? Mm-hmm. So if you watch most people do a shooting on the move drill, most people, the majority of people, probably 98%, are just making it hard to shoot. They're not actually really moving. It's a target doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's no point in doing that. Just stop, shoot at everything, and then go. Like, you're just making it harder. But that's, I think, a communication thing. One thing I was writing out for projects I have going on was like, what mode of movement are you in? Are you sprinting to get somewhere, trying to get from point A to point B now? Are you sneaking? Are you hunting? Because that kind of dictates everything. So the, what are the circumstances based on how fast you're going to be, how mindful you're going to be of what you're seeing in front of you. Even if you heard something in your house, you'd probably be moving like that.
Yeah, you could be.
But if you heard your kids screaming outside, you're not going to be moving like that.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're in a big open parking lot, like that. I mean, people always put themselves into these, I'll never find myself in a situation where you need to do that. Oh yeah, well, how many times are you in a parking lot throughout the day?
Yeah,
right. Like and what's really variable is how many cars are in a parking lot. Like, you may have 20, 30 yards of distance between you and the best piece of cover that you can get.
Oh yeah,
between you and safety. Like, yeah, we don't all hang out in fields and ranges with berms, but there are some like analogies and some similar situations that you can find yourself in.
Man, that's why I like. That's one of the reasons why I like a red dot and a pistol, because I know I'm more competent with that gun at a greater distance. That's one of the reasons why every chance I get to do, a walk back with a student and have them shoot their pistol at 100 yards, I'm like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Because number one, I want you to know that you're capable of making that hit. Just unlock more potential in your brain. But also, that is a parking lot. It's a grocery store.
Yeah,
like 100 yards, I can see that far down the road. And I usually have a pistol on me.
I'm not, man. I keep going back and forth on red dots, like whether or not I think there's no doubt they're a force multiplier with a pistol. If I had a seamless way to turn that thing on at a distance without having to push like weird buttons or hold things down or whatever, to me that would be like the perfect situation, because like everything within 25 yards I feel is better with a set of big dots. But that's just me personally. I just think that it's more seamless. There's less things that can go wrong. There's it's there every single time. If I had the ability, like if I could just turn on a red dot in the moments that I need it, like a flashlight, man, that would be awesome.
Well, here I kind of had a question, because I shot his gun when I was training with him. And
Andrew. Okay.
And one of the things that he does is suppressor height, big dots.
Yeah.
So you have the suppressor height big dots as your primaries right there. So maybe the idea of looking at the red dot as your backup instead of training it to be that's your primary, no, you know that's zeroed. You've done the work to make sure that it's zeroed, but that is your backup. Your primary are your iron sights.
And that was kind of like a concept I was thinking of, is like maybe super up close, I just focus on the irons itself. You know, we experimented at the Green Line Red Dot Instructor course when we were doing lateral movements one-handed, and you know, you lose the dot all the time in the window. But when we actually were testing it with big dots only, big dots with a dot on, or focusing on the dot, or focusing on the donut reticle, we got like booking it, moving really fast, targets probably 10, 15 yards away, lateral movement one-handed, usually 4 out of 5 hits. Like with any of those variables. And it just kind of became, you know, how do you do it? And then we found that using the donut reticle felt the best, but it didn't necessarily make us get more hits. And, you know, that's a piece of steel. We weren't grading the surgical accuracy aspect. It was just how many times we make it ring.
Right. And there's also a bias in that class, like in that design itself of like, hey, we're going to try this thing, then we're going to try this thing, then we're going to try this thing, and then we'll try this thing on the same day and do this thing. And like, the fact is that no matter what, whatever you're doing at the end of the day, you're going to be better at that than what you were doing at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt, like you're just going to get more comfortable with moving and shooting at the end of a day, like, if you're doing it all day. So like, I've fallen into that as well of like, oh, I've had a class. I felt really good about how I performed with the red dot in the class. And then just recently I got rid of my red dot because I thought there was something wrong with it. Turns out it's just hollow sun. Like they just make weird shit sometimes. And I took the dot off. I'm like, all right, this is a higher level class. It's a lot of moving and shooting with no dot whatsoever. And I've been using a dot almost exclusively for a year and a half, almost 2 years. And, you ever have one of those classes where you're like, oh shit, I did pretty okay. I guess I have worked hard. Like, I guess it pays off. So I had that experience and I was super happy about it. Because the dot went away and I just used irons and I made great shots on the move. I was super accurate in like small dot drills. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I don't need that confidence booster on the top, that green dot thing. But I was slower in longer distance shots, even though I made them. So I was like, it was a give and take, like, okay, but it also shook my confidence too. It's like, was the dot making me a better shooter, or was I, with doing a lot of reps and a lot of work and a lot of training and a lot of practice?
Number 2.
It is number 2.
It's 100% number 2.
But now I'm less sure about how much capability that dot was giving me. You know what I mean?
It depends, right?
I know it depends.
One thing with a red dot, man, is like, you know, you see more of what you're doing when you're shooting. So naturally, you know, you're gonna start correcting that a little bit more. You're able to diagnose your own shooting more. Now, one thing too with having big dots and a red dot, my front sight, the suppressor height big dots I had, fell off, and then when I drew my gun, I was like, where's my dot? I realized I had actually been indexing off my front sight a bunch, and that screwed me up. So one thing I would actually recommend is, if you're really trying to get used to a red dot, try it with like no fucking irons at all first. I'm not saying carry a gun like that. Like, I'm going to put backup irons on mine, but just for learning the red dot, I would start without iron sights at all. My first setup for a red dot pistol had iron sights that were so small they were just unusable. The suppressor height Ameriglows, and everyone's like, you want them so that they don't distract your eye. Like, yeah, but my thing is I can't fucking see them at all. Like with glasses on. If I took my glasses off, there's no way those iron sights.
Even with those super Coke bottle glasses you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ones that give you that you're basically head mounted LPVOs.
Hey,
Supervision.
$15 on Amazon for a 5-pack, son.
Supervision. 50, but supervision right now.
Yeah, man.
Do you want to leave us with any closing remarks, any closing thoughts?
We're talking about train tip in the beginning, and when
Yep.
you was texting with you guys, I had it going through my head. It was like, what would I suggest for a train tip? And the thing I would suggest the most is hone the skills that you pay for. Like, when you go take a class, you do that stuff, man. That's one of the biggest struggles I've had with my students is them not practicing the things they learn, and it's like, I've told students before, I'm like, hey, when you come back to your next class, if you've memorized the firearm safety rules word for word, the way I said them, and you can get a tourniquet on from like I have it in my hand to it's on correctly in under 20 seconds without looking at it, you're going to be my favorite student, because that means you practice this shit. Like you really memorized it. The shooting stuff, of course, but that's the fun stuff everyone likes to do anyways. But think about, guys, you put all this time, energy, money, and more time, because time is very valuable, into learning this stuff. You need to master the things you learn. Like, let's say you took fighting pistol. Every drill in fighting pistol, when you come back, you should be able to do without having to think about it. Like it just happens and it's no big deal, because that means that you actually practice the things you learn. If you didn't do that, you're kind of wasting your time, your money, and the instructor's time also.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Yeah.
Well, it's like, if you think about it, it's like you could, you started here, you could have gone all the way here, but if you didn't practice that stuff, you only move the ball forward a little.
Exactly.
And it's a disfavor to yourself, really. So
yeah, you're not progressing as quickly as you can, and you're really not solidifying stuff unless you practice.
Right. I'm not asking you to do a lot. 5 minutes a day of something will get you really far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What's
so
365 times 365 days in the year? 5 minutes a day. That's a shitload of minutes at the end of the year.
1,500 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, plus more.
I could not agree more.
Yeah, man. Andrew, you've got some awesome interviews coming up too. I know you got Pete Jr. coming up on your calendar, right?
Yep.
Who else you got?
Oh man. So we're doing Chuck
Peoples.
Yeah. I'm gonna be on Gary Marr Dynamics live stream.
Yep, to promote. To help. Yep.
My other phone is somewhere.
Your other phone.
I got 2 phones right now. Hang on, I'm gonna grab it right now. I got it.
Okay. Oh God, did he die?
No, but the soap is now.
The soap is all over the floor.
That'd be really funny if you just saw this shelf right here collapse and all the bugs.
Dust.
And while you're looking up the dates, the reason I wanted to say something is because, like, I think we mentioned this at the beginning. You've been doing an awesome, like, I love your energy and the fact that you find that thing and you're just going after it all the time. And I wish I had that, because I'm a much more like methodical type of guy, and sometimes I get caught in the like analysis paralysis type mode. But love seeing what you're doing, jumping in, doing live streams. Like you had a live stream every night this week. And I love watching it, and you're killing it, man. Like you're doing good work, and you're spreading the word. So like,
thanks, bro.
It's great.
That is just repetition. I was.
Speak his name and he appears.
Yeah, I still have a kind of offbeat personality, but like doing door-to-door marketing is how I got good at talking to new people.
Sure,
Getting comfortable with it, right? But yeah,
I thought it was just because you were a golden retriever in another life. I don't know if you know this, but to most other people, not to you, I refer to you as the tactical golden retriever, because you're so excited about everything.
I just
for a
while.
On the 20th, Chuck Peoples, Homestead Medical. What's up, Chuck? And then Gary Marr, Travis Dynamics on the 22nd. And then Pete with Defiant Munitions on the 29th.
Ooh.
And then I have to double check because like I was a little scatterbrained, but Jerry from Prepared Patriot, I'll be doing one with him coming up. I have to double check and confirm the dates.
Cool.
And then I wrote out like a big list of people that I want to talk to, just to
awesome.
throw them on there. And if anyone wants to do a live stream, including students, I'm totally down
I'm gonna
for it.
I'm gonna send you some names.
Yeah, man.
Well, we're if you ever need us, we're there for you. Be happy to return the favor of jumping on yours for
Just
joining
let me
us.
know when, man. I'm totally down for it. It's a lot easier too with dudes that you've actually like spent time with.
Oh yeah,
Where it's like I gotta be honest, even interviewing Reston, I had done a class with him, but I haven't like hung out with him.
Sure,
I spent one day with him, and then I had a 20-minute interview with him. But it's not like we know each other. So I'm like, during it, I was kind of like nervous, feeling it out.
Yeah,
trying to not make an ass of myself. That's always there.
But you know what? You find that kindred spirit with these guys. Like, if there's one thing I'm absolutely sure about is like, even though there's differences in training and differences in philosophy, in like, maybe even skill set and belief at who should learn what, there is this common bond that carries a lot of us together. And that's like the generosity and the acceptance of like, okay, people are what drives this whole thing. Like I've just like that training community, if you will, has been, it's really great. And there's, you always find that connection with somebody in this, and you can always find something to talk about, regardless of whether or not you've, trained with them a bunch or hung out a bunch or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And that, that's one of the things I love about what you're doing with Bulletin is, when we first talked on the phone, it was basically about building that, connecting the circles. Because that's like I was talking about earlier, if you've only trained within your own circle, go take a performance pistol class, like something like that. You will fucking love it. It's like, we don't think exactly the same. Maybe, we do one thing that we think is better than the thing they do, and they think that, we do a thing that's dumb or whatever. But it's like, and at the end of the day, all that shit's gay.
Yeah.
If we just grow this culture, it's going to make everyone better. Like Don Edwards always says, the rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
So if we could just all make each other better, make this culture grow, learn from one another, and connect the circles is my phrase that I'm starting to use. We will get really far. Another thing I've always said is like the gun community deserves everything they get.
True.
As far as the bad things we've been getting, and it's because we've put more effort into tearing each other down than we up. So that's like one of those things. Better. Yeah, it's I like what Gary said about his alumni group for Trimus was like, there's no third party. What is it called? Gossip is allowed, right? Like I heard this guy, blah blah blah. And I was like, damn, I need to like 100% adopt that because like, we've all done it. It's not good. And we've probably all looked stupid for doing it at one point too.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. The important thing is all these people that we associate with, they're all trying to make themselves better. And that's kind of, I think, the common theme is everyone that I've met through the training thing or through any of the alumni groups that I have decided to associate with are people that are trying to make themselves better or make other people better. And I think that's a common theme that if we just repeated that, it would be magic.
Yeah. And bringing in new blood is an important thing with that too. Like even not just from different circles, but like just brand new people.
Yeah.
It's not something I've really been good at because I kind of like was like, okay, I'm done focusing on that. I just want to get gun owners to get training now. And now I want like good shooters to get tactical training and stuff like that. But it's super important. And the other thing is too, the better we make it, the longer we're gonna retain these people. You want to come say hi?
I heard a little voice.
Yeah. You want to say hi to Max and Mike? Like, no, I just want to pull your laptop off by the.
She is a terrorist.
Well, on that note, when it comes to connecting and building community, I'm putting a link in the chat. Guys, make sure you join Andrew. I don't have a link for you, but take a class from Andrew and join his alumni page. Come join us at the Bulletin community on Facebook. like chat about stuff, talk about this. Let us know if you've enjoyed this live stream, if you enjoyed chatting about what we chat about, like bring up issues, ask questions. It's how we grow this community. It's how we get stronger, and it's how we keep this thing moving is by connecting with one another and sharing knowledge. And I think the best thing that we've created there is something of a space where people can share who they've trained with and get advice and ideas on where they can go next. And that's helped me immensely. And I only had it through a few individual people. Hopefully, yeah, it's snowing again. So I don't know what that is. It's so weird.
Individual, is it a word?
And let's make sure that we're doing it for everybody. And I think that's our mission, is to make sure that we're connecting as many people as we can throughout the industry and the community to get people training.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're about wrapped up.
Yep.
Max. Hey everyone, check out Max's channel too. He should be. I think this is being repeated on his channel tonight on Max's Path on YouTube. We talked about bulletin already. And guys, please, go over to Combat Art Training, buy a shock cord flashlight adapter. I promise you will love it, or whatever else you can find. And yeah, I got one. Hold on, wait, I want to show mine too. Here we go. Shock cord adapter.
We all have them set up the same too.
Yeah, all exactly the same way. I got a loop. It stays in the hand. It's awesome.
I literally used this today to try and find a screw that I happened to drop underneath a range.
See, there you go. EDC, baby. And yeah, go check out Andrew's stuff. Go train with him if you can. Please, sign up for the Patrolling the Homestead class if you're if you're in the area. I think you will enjoy it immensely. And you know what? Get out there and train, guys, because it makes us all better.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, anytime you guys want to come on my channel, just let me know. I'm down for it.
Whenever you want.
It'll be a yes.
Yeah, we can just turn one of those nights where we chat randomly into a live stream. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's like one of the best parts. Is like I get to turn conversations into content, and I've said that many times before. I'm like, man, this whole thing should have been recorded. Yeah.
Thank you everybody for listening. Crystal, love you. Thank you for the great tidbits and always interacting.
Mark Curtis, who's still hanging in there.
Congrats, Mark. And we'll catch you guys next time. Let us know if you've liked the live stream, and we'll bring you more.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Andrew.